What's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. So this is your first time, like and subscribe to the channel. And today I want to be talking about, is it dangerous dating in Medellin? And also, is Medellin becoming dangerous? Because I'm hearing like more and more news about things that are happening in Medellin. And I've been coming to Medellin for the last 3 years. I've also lived there for an extended period of time. And I want to just explain like my thoughts on like the current situation, what's going on with some of the things that are going on over there, and some of the stories I've heard that's been happening. So my thing is that I just think, my personal opinion is I think Medellin is just like any other city in Latin America. Like, it has its dangers and it has its safe areas. And I've seen things happen, and but to me, I never seen anything real dangerous happen over there. I think from what I've been hearing, like from some of the stuff that's going on, usually alcohol is usually always involved, if not more often than not. It's just all about, who you talk to when you're there. Like when I was living in one apartment building, like most of the majority of the people that were staying there were like, foreigners. And like the manager was telling me that, I think that he has seen 4 people in that building get robbed, 4 Americans. And he said one guy, he had got robbed by the girl that he thought that girl was his girlfriend. He said he had been seeing her for like a month and a half, and then one day he woke up and all his shit was gone, like his laptop, his cell phone, everything was gone. And that place had cameras. So it's just like, if you ask, I guess you're gonna hear about things that are going on. My thing is, I think Medellin's a safe city. It's just like any other city. It just depends. Bad things happen anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. Like, I just think, some cities have a reputation, bad reputation more than others, but it just all depends, like, how you take care of yourself. My thing is that I just think, from what I'm seeing, some of these things that are happening can be prevented. Guys have the habit of leaving their drinks unattended, and a girl slips something into her drink. But you could always do things to, like, prevent these kind of things. Like, my thing is that if you're gonna be living in Poblado, that's where like most like foreigners live at anyways, long term and short term. Especially you live in an area that has like, security, cameras, you have your security guards, and most of those places and those areas, they ask for the city, like the ID or whatever, before you go up there. Like in some places, don't even let the person go up there if they don't even have their ID. And so my thing is that it never hurts to, like, pay like the security guard some extra money, $10-$20, but like, hey, look, I have this girl coming up here, please make sure when I come outside that I'm with her. I'm gonna be escorting her outside. That way, if something does happen to you or whatever, like, that guard will already know, like, hey, he told me that he was going to be escorting this girl, like, outside himself. That's one thing that you could do to prevent something dumb from happening to you. Also, when you meet like friends there, you meet other expats as well, you can start to learn how the game works over there in Medellin. I've seen things happen. I went on a date with one of my friends, and like a guy was like trying to sell her some cards, some big cards like this. And I remember he put the cards right in front of her face. And so what he did was, like, in one hand, distracting her with the cards because they're like real big like this. And with the other hand, he stuck his hand inside her purse and ended up taking her cell phone. And we didn't even know the cell phone was gone until we got to the bar. And she's like, oh, my cell phone. And then we're thinking, like, and he did it too. Like, where there's cameras, and like, they don't care, like. So we went back and like, we started talking to the manager, and we're like, yeah, they're not here. That guy left already. And so we went to go talk to the police. So we had to wait until the end of the night to see if, like, they had got her cell phone. So we waited around 12:30, 1, and then went to like the police station that was down the street from Poblado. And I was surprised, like, I think it was maybe like on the weekend, and like they had maybe like 10 cell phones on the table, about maybe like 10, no more than 10. And they had maybe like 15 guys on the floor arrested or whatever. And so I was thinking to myself, like, add the numbers, like, and one night they caught like 10, 15 guys, and they had about 10 cell phones. Unfortunately, her cell phone wasn't there, by the way. Like, she never got her cell phone back. But we waited there for until like almost like 2 a.m. Maybe they were like gonna bring somebody else, but she never got her cell phone. So that's like one of the worst things that I've seen happen to a local. And this happened to a local, like not a tourist, like, she's from there. And so it happened to her, so it happens to locals as well. But they end up taking her cell phone. And I've heard of stories of people also getting their cell phones snatched and stuff like that. So me, I'm always like careful. Like if somebody bumps me, I always like make sure, like I always look at my wallet, I always look at my cell phone. If somebody bumps me hard, like the first thing I always do, like natural reflection, is always look at my cell phone and my wallet and see if it's there. But that's like one of the worst things I've seen happen to a local. And so it happens to locals as well. But I think as far as dating is concerned, I think it's safe, but you gotta use, it's all common sense. It's all common sense, guys. Like me, like, if I meet a girl and I'm gonna ask her, hey, you know what? Do you have Instagram? Do you have, whatever, social media, presence or whatever? That way if something happens, like, I know, like, I could track her or whatever, It's common sense. I had one girl tell me, oh, I don't have Instagram. And to be fair, I do have some friends there that don't really use Instagram. So there are some people that don't really use it. So it's not like it should be a red flag, to be honest. But, almost everybody does use, like, Facebook or whatever. So, but some people don't use IG there. And so I just thought it was, like, weird. And, like, I just, like, erased her number. I was like, nah, I'm good or whatever. But I always do something, to cover myself, to make sure that I'm okay. And that's one of the things that I do. It just depends, though. I've gone to, like, some of the neighborhoods where I've heard people like, oh, it's dangerous there. I've gone to San Javier. I've gone drinking over there. And to me, I've always felt that it was safer over there because, to be honest with you, the people that are doing the robbing, they're not doing it in the barrios. You're going to the areas where the money's at. Okay? You're going to go where the iPhones, brand new iPhones are at, where they're at in Poblado. So somebody's going to be doing robbing. Guess what? They're not going to be doing it in their barrio. They're going to be going in Parado. So I never had any issue going to, like, by Comina Tres or San Javier. I've gone there in those places at night, and I never had any issues there. I met a lot of friends there, and so I never had any issues going to those places, drinking or nothing like that. I've stand more on my toe actually in Parado more than anything. And Loretta's is like safer too, but I've heard like there's been like robberies over there as well. But it's all about common sense, guys. You meet a girl or whatever, try to get her like social information, or her IG or her Facebook or whatever, just to be on the safe side. I've seen things happen to friends, like it happened to my female friend and another guy too. He took like a girl back to his apartment, and I don't know what happened, that when he woke up, his laptop was gone. And this is a guy that was an expat that was living in Medellin for years. And so this, like I said, it happens to locals and expats, and it can happen to anybody. And then I heard recently of two young brothers that were like showing off their money on WhatsApp or whatever. And whoever was watching on their WhatsApp status saw the money, and she went over there and they did a home invasion on them. Luckily, they didn't do nothing bad to them. They didn't take their life or nothing. They took their money, their laptops, their electronics or whatever, and like their wallets or whatever. But they tied them up. But they're lucky they walked away with their breath. Something bad could have really happened to those two guys. But they're showing off their money, and I was like, dude, it's just common sense. Like, you're in the third world. Like, well, you're in a country where there's a lot of poverty. And people will, you present yourself for an attack, guess what? People are going to take advantage, and they're going to go for it, And it's just like anything, like it's just like, and it's just common sense. It's nature, you're going to be showing off your money on the social media like that, especially anywhere in Latin America, not just in Medellin. That's just stupid. And to me, I think it was probably their first time traveling, and, they didn't have nobody to take them underneath their wing or tell them, like, put them on game or tell them. It's just common sense as well, too. Like, you're showing off your money on the social media, and then you got robbed, and, their impression is always going to be bad of Colombia, but at the end of the day, it's their fault. Like, why are you showing off this money? And you don't even know the people there, like, you haven't made acquaintances there. And so what happened to these guys was really bad, but they're lucky they walked out with their lives. And, that's just some of the things that can go wrong if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. But if you make, like I said, Medellin has a great expat community there. You can make friends there. I always go out with, like, people. I never ever go by myself. I always go out with other expats or some friends and stuff like that. I never have any issues when I go out. I've gone to like areas where like tourists don't go to, like like Sesenta is a place where you never see any tourists. San Javier, you don't see no tourists. Araguanés, so I think that I'm saying it right. You don't see no tourists as well there, especially there. And so I've never had any issues in these areas or whatever, like, and but I always stay safe, like always, like, keep myself calm. But like, when you go with friends and stuff like that, you have each other's backs, and that's also important to make connections in Medellin. But as far as dating is concerned, I think Medellin is still safe. I don't think there's nothing dangerous. I'm seeing it happen more to the older man. I haven't seen it happen to young man. But I know my opinion is that there's a higher number that's not being told, because like there's a lot of guys that go over there for mongering and stuff like that, and a lot of these guys sometimes, let's be honest, like they could have like a wife back home or be in a relationship, or they could have like a career, they could be somebody important or somebody that just has a reputation to uphold or whatever, or maybe they're just embarrassed, or just, it could be a multiple of things. But you have to realize that how many guys are they getting drugged and not saying nothing? That's what I was talking about with some of the expats. Like, a lot of guys are coming out and saying things that are happening to them. But also, my thing is that there's also guys that I'm guessing this is happening to, but they're not saying nothing because they don't want their people back home to find out or whatever. And they would rather just keep it hush hush and they just like throw it underneath the rug until it goes away. So just like they take the L and they don't say nothing. So I'm pretty sure this is happening to people that are not coming out and being up for it. Like, oh, I got robbed or I got drugged, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure this is happening a lot more than is being told. But I just think first of all, you make friends there. You make friends with the expats. You make friends with some of the locals, and the things are gonna go a lot more easier for you. They tell you how to be careful. Even some of the places in Poblado, you could definitely get scammed as well. We're going off a little bit off topic, but I've seen it happen. And so, like I said, usually alcohol is always involved when bad things happen. Like, it's never like somebody was reading a book at a park and something bad happened to them, right? So that's the way it goes everywhere. But even some of the locals will tell you, like, be careful with some of the scams they have there in Poblado. Like, they overcharge you. Like, one of my friends was telling me that they overcharge her like they added 2 margaritas that she never ordered. And she's like, nah, I never ordered these drinks or whatever. And the waiter's, oh, we made a mistake. But it's those kind of things that, do happen, those are the things that you got to watch out for. And that's why you have to make friends with the locals and stuff, because they show you and they tell you, how to move and stuff. And even like when you make friends with some of the locals as well, especially some of the females, they can introduce you to your friends. So now like it's a lot more safer for you. But it just depends like how many days you're gonna be there. Obviously, like most people there are there for like 1 week, a couple of days. But to the people that are staying there long term, or even like a month or something like that, it's good to like make connections there. And you'll be a lot more safer, and the people will show you the ropes and how to move. And I just think Medellin, like to me, I never felt uncomfortable walking anywhere in Colombia. I've been to several different cities, but I know like Medellin does have some rough neighborhoods. But my personal take is I've never had any issue. I've always been like aware of my situation. I never leave my drink unattended. It's always like and I've had friends that's happened to them But like I said, my friend got his laptops taken. My homegirl got her cell phone taken, and so to me, it's just like robberies do happen, But usually they're non-violent, and usually it's common sense, Like, don't go wearing flashy jewelry, don't go walking around with your cell phone. Like, I've heard some people say like, oh, it's really dangerous, and like, I was like, to me, it's just as any other Latin American country or city, like there's things that happen everywhere. I've been to places where, I've heard people say, oh, this country is dangerous or this city is dangerous. Like, so to me, it just all depends on how you move and, how you like, who you hang out with, how do you drink and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're going to get out of control, you're going to drink too much, you put yourself at risk. And so that's a thing that you probably shouldn't be doing, especially if you're by yourself. But like I said, just, to somebody that's brand new, I recommend them going to, like, Parala's not really my cup of tea, but, just to get your, like, get used to the things that are in Medellin, go over there and try to see if you can make friends. Like, to me, I've never had any issue meeting people in Medellin. When I've gone, like, even when I've gone to somewhere by myself, like to Hooters or something like that, I always meet other Americans. Like, I've met most of the majority of the expats, like, going out by myself, and then once you meet those people and stuff, it becomes a lot more safer for you, because you could go out with a guy and like, and stuff like that, and you have each other's backs. But I think Medellin is it's not as dangerous as people are saying. I just think stuff like that happens everywhere. It happens in America as well. I've had like, my car broken into, and things stolen from me in the States or whatever, like many times. So the same things that people tell you about, oh, Medellin is too dangerous, like the same thing happens to me back in America. And so to me, I really don't see any difference. It's all just about how flashy you are. Like I said, don't wear jewelry, like don't be walking around with your cell phone like this, showing it off. So you do have to like be aware of like your situation. But I hope like this video helps any guys that are like thinking about going over there, or like I've heard things, I've heard things like I've seen people go to different countries and be like, oh, I felt Medellin was more dangerous, like many. And then it's just, to me, it's just like every country has dangers. Every country has things that you have to be aware of. Every country, there's no such thing as you could walk in any country and like you'll be like 100% safe. That's not gonna happen, But I just think for anybody to say, my opinion is that if somebody says like, oh, this place is dangerous, it's just, no, bro. Everywhere you're at, like in Latin America, is gonna be dangerous. Like I've heard bad things that happening to people everywhere, and every country I know like a story of something happening to at least one person. So there's no such thing as I've seen one example of like, oh, I've never heard anybody in this city in Latin America not get robbed or nothing like that. Nah, I've heard it in every city. It just depends though. Some cities is more open, like Medellin, has a lot of like, well, I'm not gonna say it has a lot of tourism compared to other Latin American countries, but it is like on the news a lot, stuff about what's going on, unfortunately. But you look at other countries, what's going on in their countries as well. They're also on the news for like the bad reasons as well. I'm not one of those persons that are gonna talk bad about any country I'm at. I've always loved Medellin. It's definitely like my top 5 favorite city in the world. Beautiful city, beautiful weather, beautiful people, very friendly, very nice, very easy to make friends there. Like I said, once you make acquaintances with some of those females there, I think everything becomes a lot more easier. The best recommendation I could do is just make friends there, man. And then once you establish yourself, it just becomes too easy. The women over there are easy to talk to, approachable, but you gotta be aware, don't leave your drink unattended, and I'm seeing this happening to the older men, and I guess they're getting complacent. But it's common sense to be like, hey, you know what, dude, like I have my drink with me at all times, like if I go somewhere and I leave the drink, guess what? I'll just get another one. It's only $3 or $4, like whatever. I'll just pay the extra like couple of dollars. So my thing is that you just be aware. Provisional awareness is very important in Medellin. Like I said, I've seen this happen to locals as well as expats, and but it just all depends. Usually alcohol's involved, but when it happened to my friend, alcohol wasn't involved. We're just like walking, and it's unfortunate what happened to her, but it's something that does happen a lot. And like cell phones get taken a lot. But to the newbies that are going to be going over there, just make sure you watch yourself, and just don't believe like all the negative things that you might hear from Medellin. Like there's negative things about every city that I've ever lived at. I lived in different countries as well, but Colombia to me is like one of those places where I think it's safe. I don't think it's like no more dangerous than anywhere else in the States. Like the same type of robberies that you see back home, guess what, they're happening in Medellin as well. It just, maybe there's a fear factor because it's maybe Latin America or something like that, But it's not like, it's not like if you get your things taken in the States, you're going to get them back, what do you get? You get a case number and good luck. The police don't even show up anymore. They just give you a case number on the cell phone and that's it. Same thing, in Colombia. Like, and they don't do nothing back. They don't do anything back in the States. What makes you think they're going to do something back in Latin America? Come on. You get your case number, throw it in the trash can. You got your stereo system stolen or whatever, like that got stolen, your cell phone, whatever, it's gone. So just be prepared. Like my personal advice that I could tell somebody, take a throwaway phone, buy $100 throwaway phone. That way if you do lose your cell phone, guess what? I have another cell phone. It's not a good phone, but it's a phone that will carry me for the next couple of days until I get a better phone. Throwaway phone's only like $100, so that's not too bad. So that's another thing to always have like an extra like credit card. Don't be afraid to like hide your stuff in your apartment just in case. Have an emergency backup plan as well. Because things do happen. I've had that happen to me, not in Colombia, but where like somebody takes my card information and I have to like freeze it, and now I have to order another one, and it takes about a week to get another one. So those kind of things have happened to me, but nothing dangerous has ever happened to me. And that didn't happen to me in Colombia. It happened to me in another country in Latin America. I'm not gonna go into details, but it happens. It happens. But I hope like this video like is information, gives like the information that people are looking for. I think dating is safe. I don't think it's dangerous. I think the women are very nice. They're very friendly. They're very open. Once you meet them, sometimes they introduce you to their friends, and like that's the key. Like once you meet their friends, like, and once you get your foot in the door, and most people that are very good, they're very like they want to get to know you and stuff like that. and I've never had any issues with any of the locals since I've been going there. I've been going to Medellin for years. I've been usually when I go, I stay for a few months, and I know a lot of Americans have been staying there for years, or even like a whole year at a time, or 6 months at a time. So Medellin is just one of those great places that I recommend. That I think it's safe. I don't think it's as dangerous as people are saying. I just think, some cities or some districts and some areas in certain countries are going to get more attention than other areas. It doesn't mean the crime isn't happening somewhere else in another city, but it just means like this city for a particular reason is just going to get that, it's going to get the headwaves or whatever, the attention. So especially there's a lot of the social media influencers there, and like they talk about it and stuff like that. But I hope like you don't let nobody discourage you from going over there. Like, be safe, be aware of your peripheral surroundings. Like I said, you definitely meet some nice people there, and then once you get your foot established down the door there, like everything becomes very gravy, because like you're good. You could go out with people that you trust. You could have expats that will watch your back and stuff like that. I think that's as much as far as I could say as far as dating and safety. Just be aware. I mean, you do see some knuckleheads sometimes, do dumb things, like throwing money and stuff like that. But that just that's not even a small percentage of the people that actually do that when they travel. So just be aware of those people are just they're not, to me, they're not even real travelers anyways. Like people that do that, they're just that have that mentality, or just those are the people that make themselves a target, like you're showing off your money. So don't be like that. Be aware, and have your fun. And I hope this video helped y'all out. I hope y'all liked it. I'm going to be trying to make some more videos. I'm also, when I go back, I'm going to try to do as many interviews as I can with the locals. And I think it's always a good thing to get locals information, especially people that live in the area, so they could tell you themselves what they think. When you hear it from a local, it's always 10 times better than hearing it from an expat or somebody that's even living there, because you're hearing it from somebody that actually lives there. So I try to put that kind of content on my videos. Sometimes it could be a little bit more difficult. Some people are a little bit sometimes intimidated by the camera, so they don't want to come out. But sometimes you get people that are they want to talk. They want to talk about their city. They want to talk about the culture, and they want to let people know what they think. And so that's what I'm going to be trying to do with some of my next videos when I go back to Latin America. But I hope you liked the video, guys. Don't forget to please like it and subscribe if you haven't. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And until next time, guys, take care.